Have you ever seen a small brand you love suddenly just pop up everywhere, all over the world? And you think to yourself, how on earth do they do that? Well, today we're going to break down that exact journey. We're looking at the real strategy businesses use to go from a local favorite to a global player. And here's a hint, it's not some wild overnight leap of faith. It's a calculated climb.
So, let's get specific. How does a small coffee farm, maybe a family-run business in Indonesia, get its beans into a super trendy, bustling cafe right in the middle of Tokyo? I mean, that sounds like a massive leap, doesn't it? It feels almost impossible. But what you're going to see is that it's not magic, and it is absolutely not a single giant jump.
The secret? You got to think of it like a ladder. The whole process is a journey made up of these carefully planned steps. Each rung you climb is a bigger commitment, sure, but it also gives you way more control and, a bigger potential payoff. So for the next few minutes, let's follow our Indonesian coffee producer as they start their climb up this very ladder. Okay, so where does any big journey begin? With that first step, right? For most businesses dipping their toes into the global market, it's all about testing the waters. You want to get your product out there, but you're not about to bet the whole company on it just yet.
And that first step has a name. It's called exporting. Honestly, it's the most common, most straightforward way to get started. All it means is you make your stuff in your home country and you sell it to customers in another country. Simple as that. It's really the bedrock of all international trade.
So back to our coffee producer in Indonesia. What do? Well, they grow their amazing premium beans. Then they find a partner, a local distributor in Japan, somebody who really gets the Tokyo coffee scene. And boom, they ship the beans over to be sold. It's direct, it's pretty simple, and man, is it an effective way to get your foot in the door. So why start here? Why is this pretty much always the first move? Well, it all comes down to one word, risk. Or more accurately, minimizing risk. It just doesn't cost a ton of money to start exporting. It lets you test the waters, see if people in another country actually want what you're selling. And hey, if it's a bust, you haven't bet the entire farm on it, which for our coffee producer is literally true. Okay, so let's say it works. The export plan is a huge success. People in Tokyo are going crazy for this Indonesian coffee. So what's next? You can't just stay on that first rung forever. It's time to climb a little higher on that ladder. And this next step is all about moving from just selling stuff to building real partnerships abroad. And this is the big question, right? For any company that's found a bit of success overseas, how do you make a bigger splash without, taking on the massive risk of building everything from the ground up yourself? The answer? You find a partner. It's all about collaboration. So one way you can do that is called licensing. Basically, you're giving another company permission to make your product for you, but in their country. They handle all the manufacturing and you collect a payment, a fee. It's kind of like giving them your secret recipe and letting them do the cooking. But for a coffee producer, they don't just sell beans, they sell an experience. So for them, franchising is probably a much better fit. And this is different. You're not just letting someone use your product. You're letting a partner use your entire business model. We're talking the brand, the logo, the way the store looks, how it operates, everything. So they can open up a cafe that's a perfect copy of yours. Okay, so let's make this super clear, because it's important. Licensing? That's all about the product, letting someone else produce your special coffee beans. Franchising? That's about the whole shebang, the entire business model, letting someone clone your successful cafe, from the sign on the door to the way they froth the milk. You see the shift in thinking here? It's a big one. You're moving past just selling a thing. Now it's about finding a local partner you can really trust to represent your entire brand. You're using their knowledge of the local market to give customers an even better, more authentic experience. All right, picture this. The franchises are a smash hit. The brand is famous in Tokyo. Our coffee producer's feeling confident. They're ready for it. The final top rung of the ladder. It's time to go all in. We're talking about putting down actual roots and building a physical presence in that foreign market. This top of the ladder move is called direct investment. And let's be clear, this is the ultimate commitment. It takes the most money, it's got the most risk, but the reward? Oh, the reward is huge. We're talking total control over your brand and your operations in that new country. And direct investment isn't just one single thing either. There are a few ways to do it. A company might team up with a local firm in what's called a joint venture. Or they could set up their own company, a subsidiary. Or just open a local branch office. Or for the really ambitious, they could build their own factories or roasteries right there from scratch. So you can really see the trade-off here, right? As you climb up that ladder, from exporting to franchising, all the way up to owning a subsidiary, the amount of money you have to put in just skyrockets. But on the flip side, so does your level of control, and hopefully, your potential for profits. So, what does this mean for our coffee hero? Well, they're not just sending beans in a box anymore. They're not just letting someone else run a cafe with their name on it. No. Now they are building their own roasteries and opening their own cafes, staffed by their own people, right there in Japan. They are all in. But of course, it's not quite that simple. No business does this in a bubble. Climbing this global ladder means you have to deal with a whole world of rules and regulations and big organizations. Some of them are there to help you, and some of them, well, they can feel like they're standing in your way. Let's start with the good news. You're not totally alone out there. There are global guides to help you out. You've got big players like the World Trade Organization or WTO that try to keep the rules fair for everyone. Plus, a lot of governments actually have programs specifically designed to help their local companies start exporting. And you've always got industry groups that can give you the inside scoop. But then you've got the hurdles, the global gatekeepers. Every single company has to figure out things like tariffs, which are basically taxes on stuff you bring into a country. They've got to deal with super complex regulations that are different everywhere you go. And then there's the whole headache of customs. These are the real challenges you've got to clear. So look at that. We followed the whole journey from start to finish. Our coffee producers started small in 2024, just exporting their beans. By 2026, they had franchise cafes popping up in Tokyo. And just a couple years later, they're opening their very own subsidiary and roastery. You see that progression? From just testing the waters to being fully committed. Look, if there is just one thing you remember from all of this, make it this. Going global, when it's done right, is not some chaotic, crazy leap into the unknown. It's a strategic climb. It's a ladder. And every single step up is planned and thought through. This idea, this ladder, is such a powerful way to think about growth. It doesn't matter if you're actually building a business yourself or if you're just curious about how the global economy works. Understanding this path is absolutely key. So it really just leaves one question for you to think about. What's the next step on your global ladder?